hears other sounds of explosions. So he turns back to the open street in order to see what the heck is going on in there. And he sees the whole bunch of Skibidi mutants and toilets that arrived to this place. And I don't want to bully you guys or anything like that, but don't you think that y'all are way too small for Astro toilets that are capable of eliminating literal crowds of battle cameramen helicopters? Although I don't know, maybe these poor Skibidi were trying to escape from other Astro toilets as well, so that they arrived in here. But it was a poor choice nevertheless. Well, at least they could have screamed their typical Skibidi dog, yes, yes, a little bit quicker so that they wouldn't be discovered so easily. And just a second later, two obliterated Astro toilets with the X-wings like shape appear like wolves that smell the flavor of raw meat. They just stare at the hopeless group of small Skibidi for a few seconds, then turn their heads towards each other and start grinning in a maniac-like way because they knew for sure what was about to come next.
Over 600,000 shelter animals are euthanized every year. Let's help by adopting these adorable babies on TikTok. Discover local shelters and pets on TikTok to give them a second chance. Life
In a maniac-like way because they knew for sure what was about to come next. Those poor Skibidi were cooked since the moment they slept.
He started to freak us.
So let's press F for those hopeless freaks in advance. Meanwhile, both Astro obliterators who still continue to smile eerily use the special orange devices covering one of their eyes, which allows them to navigate the missiles from a larger distance. Then we hear the sound of the power wave, and for a second the POV looks back at the Skibidi, who look absolutely terrified in that moment. The large Skibidi toilet looks at Astro obliterators and says that Skibidi really maybe he was trying to beg those two Astros not to destroy his comrades, but they are probably just his last word. Translated, most Lord have mercy on us. Or something. In any case, this scene looked really cool, and I even felt sorry for these Skibidi toilets alive because, man, they looked like total victims in this hopeless situation. And I must also add that at this moment, those Skibidi toilets also reminded me of regular human beings. I mean, they weren't acting crazy or reckless, so instead they just looked genuinely terrified and scared of what was about to come on their heads. And I'll also talk about this a little bit later, so be sure to watch this video to the end, not to miss anything important. So of course this unfortunate group of Skibidi toilets gets literally obliterated from all the sides because there was another Astro obliterator that showed up behind them. So this looked not like an unfair fight, but literal destruction. And do you know what this reminded me, guys? This cruel scene looked extremely similar to the infamous village destruction scene from Skibidi Multiverse from Dom Studio, where pencilmen seemed to serve a role like some real bad guys in a dark uniform who spoke in German language and did lots of terrible things 60 years ago. I hope you got exactly what I was trying to say, because YouTube would punish me really bad if I used more precise words regarding these group of people. So yeah, it really looks like Astro toilets decided to destroy the whole freaking population here because they're extremely vile and disgusting creatures. They're getting overblown from their power, and it definitely looks like some sort of balance has to be restored in this community. There's ASMR. Before and too late already. And now I see exactly what the secret agent meant when they've been saying to Plunderman that Astro toilets are a much bigger threat. These freaks are literally unstoppable in their agenda at the moment. And it also looks like they have some real deep hatred for Skibidi toilets especially. And I believe that it may be connected directly to G-Man and his hypothetical betrayal. Well, at least that's what Astro Detainer accused him of back in episode 72. So maybe Astro toilets are hating on G-Man, who supposedly betrayed him, and joined Skibidi Scientists' fraction instead. And that's why they seem to eliminate other Skibidi toilets with such a hatred. And then, as the POV looks at the distance, we see the emergence of another Astro freak on the horizon. We see how another Skibidi toilet tries to escape this awful place from the air, but his attempts are getting stopped abruptly with a very clunky sound by this Astro toilet, who looks like a mini version of Astro Juggernaut. So should I call him Juggerson or something like that? Because this dude looks literally like an offspring of Astro Juggernaut, and it will even be sort of hilariously confirmed later in this episode. Okay, but let's get back to business now. After a second, Juggerson feels that someone is watching him, I guess, so he raises his head and stares right into the POV's soul. And in that moment, we can hear the sound that lots of video games use when your character also getting their
So
weapons
I
ready for
think
a
I'm just
massive
gonna make
blast.
this.
And it seems to me that these weapons were made specifically to target astro toilets, and their technology is even somewhat similar to the missiles that astro toilets use themselves. But it also seems to me that Juggerson and other elite sort of astro mobs are really durable, and their defense systems are extremely high. Okay, and then Juggerson simply rams up through the wall on the left side from the POV like an angered bull or something like that. And he's so powerful that it wasn't difficult for him to tear this
Still gonna
whole
use
wall
this
apart.
on the music when we're playing.
He's rushing straight to the POV, and along his way he simply brushes off this poor cameraman somewhere like he was just a plain wooden toy pull. And as a result, this cameraman's body gets simply cut off in two parts from the blades on Juggerson's right arm, which is just nasty as hell. And it seems like this guy wants the POV to have a similar fate, so he keeps rushing towards him with his blades ready to strike. But thankfully, our POV seems to be a really skilled guy who's operating his jetpack in a really awesome way. So he manages to dodge all the attacks from this terrible astro, while all his comrades are frying him up with their red laser cannons. So eventually, the astro toilet has to look away from his delicious target in yellow shirt and focus on other cameramen instead that keep shooting him from all of their blasters. And he then puts up the shield to save his metal skin from getting cooked.
Also, I'm gonna
So it seems to me that
bonus
these astro
chest and keep
toilets are not
inventory. That's
invincible
okay.
after all. And within some time of successful shooting of them, it is possible to damage those freaks as well. Although their level of protection is still undoubtedly high at the same time. But unfortunately, astro toilets are extremely difficult targets to keep in one place, because the other ability that they all have, and infamously well known for, is their insane speed that they can activate whenever it's comfortable for them. And this is exactly what Astro Juggerson does when he seems to run out of any other options to resist the cameraman's attacks. So with his shield still on, he simply rushes through the whole hangar, destroying the unfortunate agents that were on his way, and crumpling the container's hulls like paper. And then he comes back immediately at lightning speed after he destroyed all the agents at the end of this hangar with his thing. So the cameraman and a handful of other cameramen are the only survivors remaining in this hangar, and they're preparing to fight till their last breath. The big cameraman takes the rocket launcher cartridge into his hand while waiting for Juggerson to return, and the POV is ready to strike with his cannon. So when it seemed like Astro Juggerson's attention was going to be fully focused on the POV, he somehow changes his plans within a literal second, activates his shield, and then uses it as a
We can see
battering
the
ram to
video.
tumble upon the other four survivors.
We can
He
see
then
the
tries
video.
to
I'm so
destroy
sorry.
the big cameraman in the
So we're
most
not getting the
painful way
happy
possible.
gas.
Unfortunately, our brother's rocket launcher was not used for nothing, so the giant explosion occurs and hits Juggerson right into his disgusting face. Don't skip. I've got something crazy to show you. If you like simulator games, you're gonna love this secret. I just launched my very first water park simulator. It just launched today. Giant explosion occurs and hits Juggerson right into his disgusting face. But unfortunately, that's not enough to even stun this freak. And in order to punish the big cameraman's audacity, Astro Juggerson simply tears his head camera off. And then he switches to another target, which is the yellow-shirted POV who's right in front of him. The Astro toilet puts up his shield again and tries to stomp us with his initial ramming tactics. But fortunately, the POV is able to learn from his fallen comrade's mistakes, so he doesn't allow Astro Juggerson to move any closer towards him. So he uses his jetpack again in a really clever way while trying to damage the jerk from the distance. But unfortunately, the Astro's thin lasers got to him again, and it seems like the POV even became unconscious for a few seconds, and his head camera got simply turned if he was saying something like, well, okay, it's kind of weird, but I'm fine with it. And honestly, this was my reaction to this episode too. The union between Skibidi Toilet
Yes, a
and
village!
Alliance's
That's
forces
good, that's
is
good.
indeed
A
great
villain!
concept theory. Considering that I was predicting such a plot
Okay, we can get. Should we get the iron golem? I think that
I'm
we
not
should
really
get
that
that.
surprised in the end, my
Wait, we need a
friends.
sword. That's what we
But it's
need.
not the end for our new team, because then we can hear another portion of eerie sounds from the outside. The POV looks at the female mutant and puts a finger near her lips as if she was saying, "Be quiet, bro." Man, she's just such a badass already. And also, when I saw her face in detail, I couldn't help but remember about the blonde girl in the police uniform that was shown in the secret scene of the full 73rd episode. She resembles her a lot. The way she goes completely different characters. Then the whole
Okay,
team
blacksmith.
quietly to the exit of this
Oh,
bunker so that
copper.
they could finally
Let's
leave
check
this
if there's
cursed place
iron.
once and for all.
Yes,
Then
that's
suddenly
good.
a huge jump scare comes out of the mouth of
Monster
Astro
too.
Juggernaut's voice who
Oh
says,
my God.
"I can see you through the walls." What a chilling statement, bro. And right after that, he rips the whole
I don't need
freaking
that.
from the hanger off, and here he is, our old buddy from the end of episode 72. And I was predicting his return quite a lot in all my theory videos regarding episode
This is
75. So it's good
Oh,
to
this was
see
my
him.
pickup.
Kind of, because at the same time, he's way too terrifying.
Let's
in
get
here.
this.
And then just a moment later, his eyes are stopping at the fallen Jugger son's body.
Copper.
And Astro Juggernaut whispers, "What?" He really looks like a disappointed dad whose son just got washed by the group of school bullies.
Oh.
And it even made me chuckle. And to make things even more hilarious, Astro Juggernaut then adds, "My baby." And guys, wait a minute. What is even going on in here? Maybe Astro Juggernaut was a bothering mommy all this time. This is genuinely insane. I think we called the wrong Astro mothership after all, if you get what I mean by this. But Juggernaut still hasn't done yapping, so he yells, "You will pay." While the mixed team has already left the hangar and closed the self-made door behind them. Then the female mutant grabs us closer to her and sets off in the air. And in that moment, I noticed
5 iron,
completely
that's
opposite
good.
things. First of all,
Bro,
it's
this
her
is a
face, which
lot.
doesn't seem brain rotten at all. Otherwise, she looks like a completely sane person that somehow turned out to be in the toilet too. And second of all, we can hear an eerie sound of the explosion, which is soon to come and fry our
Let's
butts.
just get
So I got a pretty mixed feeling overall. And although Blonde is
Aha!
as far as possible from this cursed hangar, the shocking wave of that explosion still got both of us, and the POV's head camera started behaving weirdly once again. And if we'll look at this scene when his camera starts
Bam!
frame by frame, then we will see that
Bro,
it looks
this is
like
actually a
the
lot.
got knocked
Not
out
gonna
from
lie.
his hands and started falling to the ground. But before we'll already start
Wait.
seeing
I got an idea. We can get a full set. We can get a full set. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We can get a full set. We can get a full set.
It got buried by pieces of rocks everywhere. But overall, we still managed to
Look at this.
survive, which is a great thing. The whole team seemed to get down to save him and help him get up on his feet. And man, this is too wholesome for him. And check out these two buddies. It seems like they have already become the best friends, while the female mutant seems to be more cold and apathetic. So he stands a little bit aside from the team, and I feel like she has some really rough stories to tell from her past. The POV
Oh my
looks at
God,
her and shows
we
her
are
thumbs
OP.
up,
We are
which is such
OP
an
gang.
unbelievable thing
We are
to
the
see.
OP gang.
Skibidi toilet, and she doesn't know
Okay,
how
let's
to
use
respond
our
to
stone
this.
pickaxe
So
to
she
mine
just
stone.
lowers her head and looks at the POV in the funny way. "Oh, hey, you two. Is something happening here, or am I tripping?" And on such sassy note, today's episode ends. And oh man, I have so many ideas regarding this group of Skibidi toilets that teamed up with cameramen survivors. I think that I'll make a separate video about these guys specifically, so that my analysis will turn out
FBI.
to be so long.
FBI is coming to your house.
I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did,
Or just come right.
and also be sure to write a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube and Discord channels
What is
to
that?
miss my new interesting videos. And that was me, Iso Toilet. See ya.
Yes, sarap ng pastillas feeling. Biscuit sandwich pastillas.
explore all the secrets and Easter eggs in detail. Titan Cameraman is back with a huge upgrade, but I assure you, you didn't notice all of his improvements. Why did all the TV mans
Oh my god!
Scabini toilets know where the cameraman base
That's
is?
actually a
I
lot.
will tell
Nah.
you everything in this video and analyze in detail all the hidden moments.
Oh my
Watch it till the end to not miss
god.
anything.
We're getting
Let's
other
go.
furnaces.
So the episode starts in the lab that we saw in the previous episodes. We hear a siren sound and a red glow. Fun fact, there's a 2-eye retinal reader in the corridor. Meanwhile, mostly inside the complex are only cameramen who have camera
I
lenses
think I
instead
should
of
build
eyes.
my base here.
Let's turn our attention to what's going on around us. On the right, Spearman is putting strange bolt-ons in the body of the cameraman. Maybe it's extra protection, or maybe it's explosives, and they want to use him as bait for Skibidi and then blow him
This
up.
it makes me want more. Yeah, take another bite, put another bite. Yeah, go take one, go there. Go take one, go there.
You'll see what I'm talking about. The guy sitting near the exit will fall
No, not tonight. Tonight, yeah.
huge mob of upgraded Skibidi toilets are making their way inside.
Need you, don't need me. I'm empty, you need me. So refreshing. My love is so
Just before
love.
the gate, there's a car with an anti-parasite cannon. We saw that in episode 39. The cameraman tried to free Titan's wingman from a parasite. He failed. There's also another one of these machines a little farther away, and on the roof there's a similar weapon firing a blue beam.
Bro, how many furnaces? Fur. I am stealing.
Episode 38. G-Man toilet.
I have 6 furnaces. I think that's all.
And was unharmed. In any case, the Alliance is going to free the Titan speaker from the security events. Notice that as we exit, we see a huge protective structure made of metal pins fall down, and an explosion follows. The Skibidi toilets make their way to the entrance of the lab. We see a scientist making his way to the others. A big cameraman carrying a wounded comrade with something sticking out of his chest. Another cameraman running to the right with a severed arm. Apparently outside the gate there was clearly a battle going on between the Alliance and the Skibidi. Strange that the scientist was furthest away. I didn't think they were going out to fight the toilets, though we've seen in past episodes that the scientists are near the battles. He's clearly not recommending us to run forward by the look of his gesture. But the one I didn't expect to see in this episode was Plunger Cameraman. He heroically walks towards the Skibidi monsters while everyone else is running away. This moment made the Alliance
Bro, how many furnaces
head cameraman
do all of you need?
but he wasn't. Apparently, there are many of them with a black camera. Maybe they're improved or more skilled. But Plunger Cameraman is one, and he survived. Why isn't he afraid to go up against the Skibidi toilets, who are much bigger and stronger than he is? Perhaps he's just very strong mentally, or he has a secret ability we haven't seen yet.
God, this-
Either way, he still hasn't fought the toilets in this episode. Here we see the remnants of a defense wall, the exact same one that was broken by the Skibidi a little earlier. This tower is a regular structure from Half-Life, and the sign on it is the City 17 logo. This is not a reference, but only tells us that the creator made this map himself using parts from Half-Life. Let's take a closer look at Skibidi monsters. On the right is a Skibidi Strider. We saw a similar one in episode 47, but it had 4 laser cannons. The new Strider has 2 rocket launchers. In the distance, there are 2 Skibidi Spiders with a machine gun on the bottom. This is the one that Titan Cameraman crushed with his fist on his first appearance. Here you can see 2 upgraded toilets. As we remember, the gray toilets are fire resistant and stronger. Here is this device instead of a cistern already used in other versions of the toilets. What it's for is not clear yet, but you can't flush this toilet. Well, and in the center we see a huge fire-breathing Skibidi toilet. His eye protection looks like a panel welded to his head. Apparently, the toilet scientist is not sparing the rest of them, and is making more and more insane inventions to win. What is interesting is if Skibidi has other scientists working on creating these monsters. In early episodes, we saw one of Skibidi's hangars with several toilets in a Skibidi cat. But back to the main monster.
Oh
It is
my.
completely made of metal and rides on wheels. The design is similar to the R2-D2 from Star Wars.
Okay, that's since we have full armor and we don't have no iron because I wasted it all on my helmet. Wait, that's iron. Yes.
Star Wars. Before he spews this episode with blue flames. The surprises don't end there. But first, I want to point out that Titan has some sort of machine guns and cannons on top. Maybe it's needed to fly better, but for some reason, it looks more like a weapon. Notice that Titan doesn't react to the lasers or the explosion of the rocket. It looks like his body has been enhanced
That,
with heavy
but I
armor.
think we need our.
Now, for the most interesting ingredient. Perhaps not everyone noticed how his hand turned into a powerful magnet, but almost immediately we see the hand in this place again. But I'll show you. Notice right here how the magnet appears in the place of the glove. Also, when Titan has already pulled the fine toilet to himself, the hand grows back in its place. I can assume that he is capable of instant regeneration, so shocks and explosions are not dangerous for Titan. Now let's pay attention to the small details. The core in the chest is now better protected. Before it was just a
Keeping
stick
your
down
check,
the
keeping your assess. The word, the D in your head. Every time it hurts, play another verse. I can be a sanctuary. No one, the only one right now. I'll love you more, and it all burns down. What a power, what a gold. Yeah, you gave me your heart, not me.
By the way, we don't see
I'm the only one who loves your sins. Feel it when my voice gets underneath your skin. Yes, I'm a creature to the choir. Can I get the mic a little higher? Give me your desire. Want to set your world on fire. I want the G that you can't look away. Don't try me, I'm here to save you. I'll be running wild. Yeah, I'm on the need, I'ma be your idol. Yeah, thank you for the fame, cause I watch you, I'm your idol. Thank you for the pain, cause I'm your idol. Oh yeah, now showing the fever, making you a believer. I feel that this is not your idol. Living in your mind now. Too late, cause you're mine now. I will make
Right
you
now they're still
free.
not dancing. Maybe they're sad because their Titan is still infected and can't fight. Or maybe they're just in shock at what they've seen. I was shocked to see everything that was going on in this episode.
Okay, so my Minecraft base is almost done. I like it, it's just.
We also see that it's not just a lab, but a huge
Oh my-
complex that is many floors high. It may have many sections where they assemble and improve the cameramen and speakermen. But where are the TV men? I still don't trust these guys, as they've already abandoned the other
A
alliance.
G in your head. Every time it hurts, play another verse. I could be your sanctuary. No one, only one right now. I'll love you more when it all burns down. What a power, what a gold. Yeah, you gave me your heart.
Luckily, he survived. We see him right here in this shot when the toilets are no longer around. I really like this guy. He's brave and well trained.
It's
I'm glad he's alive. I'm sure there's a special role for him in the show. You might think that this cannon works like the hypnosis of TV men, but it doesn't. When Titan destroys the spider from the back, it still works and Skibidi explodes. Also notice with what sound the fire breathing toilet rises.
got.
all the secrets that you didn't
Okay,
know.
so my stone
And there
pickaxe
are a
is
lot of
about
them,
to
so
break.
watch the video until the end
I am
to
kinda
not miss the most
nervous.
interesting. At the end, as
God.
always, we'll talk about theories, so you'll enjoy it for sure. The action of the new episode takes place on the same map as the last one. And just like that, there is no link to the map in the description. And as we remember, Defuku edited this map and added Easter eggs to it. Let's break it down. First of all, in the last episode, we were a scientist cameraman, but in this one, we're a regular cameraman. You can see this by our arm. Our character lies on the ground and slowly gets up. Before this, we have seen the cameramen in two states. They are either alive or destroyed. How they can lose consciousness, we haven't seen. But the beginning of the episode clearly suggests that the cameraman was unconscious but woke up. That's also where we see the VMA's graffiti. Write in the comments if this is present in the original map. But I suspect it is not, because there is a square in the center of the letter B that looks like a TV screen. As we remember, TV men say words backwards, and if we read the word backwards, it would read zombie. This is exactly the effect that TV man screens have. We also see a speakerman with his speaker head ripped off. It's just a regular speakerman, like the one that helped us stand up in episode 24. Next, we get up and see three more cameramen, one of whom also has his head ripped off. This doesn't look like a toilet circular saw. We could have sawed them apart. It looks like they were destroyed by regular Skibidi toilets. There's also a destroyed repair camera lying nearby. These are the ones that charged the cameraman Titan in episode 23. It certainly looks like the head of a large cameraman, but throughout episode 49, we don't see his body around. So it's the repair robot that was repairing Titan. By the way, at the end of the episode, we finally get close to the cameraman Titan. I'll tell you why. So
My
watch the
God,
video.
they damaged
We
my.
continue on and see G-Man Toilet with a new upgrade. He's wearing fancy yellow glasses. Apparently, he made conclusions after the battle with TV Man Titan, where he almost lost. By the way, these glasses look a little similar to Defuku's, and it seems to be a hint that the creator is helping Skibidi
This is
Toilet
my
side.
spawn point.
G-Man crushes
So
something
now
and
let's
flies
go.
away. Pay attention to his size, and further you will understand why I said that. G-Toilet flies away, and in front of us, the whole street with two destroyed toilets in the middle. Apparently, there was a battle going on. Next, we see a cameraman cut in half. The poor guy shows his thumb down, and this is also for the first time in the series, because usually everyone showed a thumbs up. By the way, during the episode, we never see the lower part of his body. I guess the circular saw toilet is made for a body. There he is, by the way. Look at this. This cameraman looks exactly like in the last episode. Many people assume that Plunger Cameraman will have a special role in the series, but as we can see, he is destroyed. It's possible, by the way, that there are many cameramen like this, and this is just one of them. Next, we see a new creation of Skibidi Toilets attacking us. First of all, notice that in new episodes, more and more toilets have robotic legs, or they're flying, while the first Skibidi Toilets just rode on their bottoms. Apparently, the toilet scientist is constantly inventing new things. We see more and more improved toilets in just every new episode. Let's explore them in detail. On the bottom, it has an attached KPRL speaker, just like the regular speaker man. This creature has a camera on top, but not an ordinary one. It's a black camera, like the Plunger Cameraman. We conclude that there are several such cameramen,
I'm about
which
to
means
die.
that one of them in the
I
last
only have 4
episode could have
hearts.
survived.
Help.
This is very important because he is the one who could have kept them handy in getting to the Skibidi toilets. But back to our monster. One of his arms is modified with a saw, and the other with something like a cannon or a taser. His eyes are protected by a new device. It's tightly attached to his head, and it's not like any of the previous ones. It seems likely that Skibidi scientists is testing different options for defense against the TV. Strange thing is, G-Toilet had no eye protection at all, and just glasses appear in this episode, while the other toilets have different masks and better eye protection. By the way, at the back, he has another mechanical arm similar to Titan TV Man's. Toilets is definitely focusing on science and technology. It's still unclear to me why this toilet needs a camera and speaker. We saw a vacuum toilet use a camera because he had no eyes, but this one can see just fine. Maybe he needs the camera to get a better view of the back and sides. I'm still not sure what this toilet needs a speaker for. It's possible he's carrying all this stuff like trophies. Notice how carefully he moves towards our character, as if he wants to saw off another camera without damaging it and hang it on himself. Next, we see something hit toilet and break his glasses. There is no bullet or sound to break them. It's like some kind of power surge hitting him in the face. And we see TV man and TV woman. This is the second woman in the entire show. The first one we saw in episode 29, it was Camera Woman. When she bends over, we see kind of a blue skin on her neck. But it's not. Next, you'll see that it's just the collar of a sweater. Notice the device on the right TV man's head. It's the only thing that could break Toilet's glasses, because they're not holding anything and the screens aren't on. And I don't remember the screens breaking the glasses. Apparently, the TV guys made a little cannon that shoots at the glasses and shatters them. It's great that we're seeing a technological race between the two sides. But back to TV Woman. She has a new ability to ignite her victim. The glow of her screen is orange, though we've only seen blue and red glow in other TV men. While Skibidi Toilet goes up in flames, the sawed-in-half cameraman in the back hopefully raises his head. We see that the camera on his head is exactly the same as Plunger Cameraman's camera. Note that Toilet's skin is charred and black. Here we see two new toilets react to the sound and immediately appear. You might think that there is only one, but in the background you can clearly see a huge helicopter toilet in a mask. Remember, I said to pay attention to G-Toilet's size. Look how much bigger this toilet is.
Video
You
call.
could definitely call it the new Skibidi Titan.
Okay,
And so does the circular saw toilet from last episode,
Smelter
deciding to
Island.
destroy the new TV man enemies. And this is where we see TV Woman's second ability. Her head can turn into a temporary parasite. Moreover, unlike the Skibidi
All I need
parasites
is
that
one
have
iron
drop
to make
from
a
above,
shield.
TV Parasite is equipped with a jetpack and can fly herself. All indications are that the TV men stole the technology from the toilet scientists. That's not surprising since they can teleport anywhere. Up close, we can get a better
We
look at
get
this
iron,
toilet
we
and notice
get
that
a
it has
shield.
strange speakers on the sides.
We
Also,
grab
his
that.
mask looks
We
like a
put
camera.
the
Kayla's here, and after over a year of development, my team and I are finally launching our first one. And it's insane. Notice that he has strange speakers on the sides. Also, his mask looks like a camera. By the way, that the parasite technology is the same as Skibidi Toilets is indicated by the blue lightning bolts during the infestation. You can also notice that the toilet has two jet turbines at the back for flight, but one of them is intersected by a saw. I realize that all this is created in the game, but how does this saw spin if the turbine passes through it? In general, I can talk about the shape of the toilet too, but it's not so interesting. It's better to pay attention to what the author of the series left us. As we notice again, Saw Toilet flies straight towards the Skibidi Titan, and he jumps up and flips over from the explosion.
Oh my god.
It's hard to tell if it survived since it's huge and behind the houses, but the TV parasite definitely survived and calmly returned to its body. As I said, pay attention. This is not a skin of blue color, but only the collar of the sweater. By the way, it's not really clear what exploded in this area because the toilet flew much farther away. In the back, we see and hear the appearance of new Skibidi toilets, including the Strider toilet from episode 47. Notice that the TV men have moved forward. You'll see why. By the way, there are 4 Skibidi toilets. There is one on the left, 2 in the center of the street, and Strider toilet in the background. And we see TV Woman's third ability to teleport someone with her. And we arrive at the cameraman's lab. There are a lot of interesting things to notice here. The most
there you
obvious
are.
is the sign of the cameraman Titan. This is my favorite character in the series, and I'm glad Dafook didn't forget about it. We saw exactly the same sign on the wall in episode 23 when Cameraman was being repaired. Next, the teleported TV man took the sawed-off cameraman with him. Apparently, all TV mans can teleport someone with them. But then I don't understand why they abandoned the others in episode 43. Perhaps they didn't have time, or there were simply not enough of them to take all the cameramen and speakermen with them. But I still rate it as a betrayal, and I don't feel good about the TV men. I think they can be expected to stab someone in the back. I'd be more careful with them. Although in this episode, we see them helping the cameraman. That's the cameraman engineer, by the way. The exact same guys with welding machines were involved in Titan's repairs. Notice the colors of the suits on these cameramen. We know for sure that the white suit belongs to the scientists. And these two guys we may have also seen in episode 43. Anyway, it's just clothes. There could be a lot of them. Notice the texture of the ceiling. It's exactly like the wall texture in the hangar with Titan. That tells me he's somewhere in this area. I really hope to see him in the next episode. I also noticed that after the scientist pressed the button and something on the panel activated, the TV woman's teleportation started. Maybe they don't teleport on their own, but it's controlled from the lab. Then the scientist set the coordinates and teleported her to another location. By the way, speakerman and cameraman are exactly where they lay in relation to us in the last location. Maybe the scientist restored them by pressing a button, or maybe they were restored by another TV man during teleportation. Either way, I just noticed the similarities. It's just my guess. Anyway, the sign saying that help was coming soon in the last episode was clearly telling us about Titan Cameraman. I assumed he was being remade into Speakerman, but the creator is clearly telling us that is not true. I'm sure he'll be much stronger than we've seen before. I have a feeling that Titan is right outside this gate, even though it doesn't look like the one the toilets used to make in the lab. One more thing. Look at how the TV parasite flies sideways while the jetpack turbines look down. I don't know if that's new technology or just a movie mistake. And lastly, what does TV woman say? This time, even listening in reverse, it's hard to understand what she's saying. I did a little bit of audio processing, and this is what I got. Personally, I still can't hear the first word for sure, but the second word is now. It could be leave now, but I can clearly hear the S sound. Leaves now, or breathe now are my final choices. Either way, it doesn't really make much difference in understanding the plot, so I won't focus on it too much. Now the theories. First of all, the Computer Man theory is irrelevant. I don't think we'll see any new races until the Titan storyline is revealed. I'm also guessing we were shown a giant toilet for a reason. Even if this one was destroyed, there could be others like it, and I'm sure the TV parasite is prepared for G-Toilet. It will be fun to watch G-Man toilet fight on the side of the cameraman, while the infected Titan Speakerman fights on the side of the Skibidi toilets. Also, I'm pretty sure that this lab will repair the TV Man Titan, but maybe his head will be replaced with something else, maybe even a computer. Then he'll be the only member of his race. The TV parasite could also infect the giant Skibidi Titan and use it against G-Toilet. Another option is that the TV parasite is created to take control of the Speakerman Titan, so we'll see an epic battle between the two parasites for the right to control Titan. Well, that's all for now. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to not miss the analysis of new videos. Also, write in the comments if you noticed something I couldn't. By the way, have you already gone to make art with the new TV woman? And that's me, IsoToilet. See ya.
We're gonna make a proper base now.
The top two of the game would be the only person I care about is my dad. No matter what, I'm always trying to stay disciplined and just remember who I'm doing this for.
Hey everyone! The new episode of Skibidi Toilets is out, and now I'm going to show you a deep analysis of it. You know, we are very lucky that the episode was published because Dafuk got copyright strikes recently. You may notice that some videos on his channel have been deleted. Apparently he only had 2 strikes, because if he had gotten a third one, he wouldn't have been able to publish new videos for a while. But luckily episode 67 part 2 is out now, which means it's time to see all the secrets and hidden moments that Dafuk has left for you. How did the Skibidi Toilets get TV Man technology? Are Titan Cameraman and Plunger Man alive or not? And why is Skibidi Scientist actually a robot and an imposter? Get your tea and snacks ready. I'm going to show you everything you missed in this episode. Let's go. As we remember, at the end of the first part, Skibidi Scientist teleported right in front of the Titan. Video in. After that, Titan Speakerman decided to make the first move and exchange balls with the scientist. And gosh, I couldn't even realize how powerful this little cannon on the scientist's head is. Speakerman's shot looks like a baby's fart in comparison with it. The cameraman attacks Skibidi from the front, but gets blasted right in his chest as well. Notice how Titan Cameraman is more resistant to attacks compared to Speakerman. I think he's some kind of tank, and Speakerman Titan is an assassin or something. That said, the speaker on the scientist's chest is many times stronger than his cannon. Cameraman Titan flies off and falls on his butt because of the sound wave. Speakerman attacks Skibidi from the back, and it's the dumbest action in the entire episode. Instead of attacking his head, Titan decides to stab this little gun right here. I don't know, maybe he took offense that this tiny invention did so much damage to him, because he had a chance to destroy the Skibidi scientist by attacking his head or his eye? Yes, it's likely scientist would have survived because he's a robot, but I'll tell you about that a little later. Skibidi scientist throws Speakerman away like a little kitten. And it seems this big boy has a lot of weapons in his arsenal. This acid cannon looks very familiar. Remember that Skibidi octopus from episode 44? He was destroyed, but the Skibidi must have taken his tentacles back to base. We also know that acid does a lot of damage to the Titans. It's their weak spot. That's why in new episodes we see a lot of acid weapons at the Skibidi toilets. This time the cannon fires full-fledged rockets. Apparently Skibidi Mafia boss only had a test version of this. Titan Speakerman loses his second cannon, but he doesn't look badly damaged. Titan's entire body remains intact, only the cannon attachment is damaged. Notice that the cannon didn't even ignite like it happened with Titan Cameraman's one in episode 55. And here we see a cool new ability. It turns out that Speakerman can also attack enemies with the energy of his core. Now it's not fire like Cameraman's, it's just a beam, but man, it looks even cooler. And this action was very smart because he attacked the acid barrel on the scientist's tentacle. By the way, Cameraman is just sitting there resting at this time. And look at this. A barrel explodes next to the scientist's face, and the acid falls right on it. Speakerman attacks his eye with a laser, but the scientist doesn't give a damn about that.
I feel like this is going for too long.
From a second cannon and wounds Speakerman with it. Look at the scientist's face. A barrel of acid poured on him, and he doesn't care at all. Look what happened to the Mafia boss after that. I think DeFook showed him at the beginning of the episode for a good reason. He gives us hints that the scientist is actually completely robotic. Also, his eye remained 100% intact despite the laser hitting it. Cameraman Titan decides he's rested enough and saws off the scientist's tentacle with his new arm. But the Skibidi giant immediately responds with a claw and wants to use another acid cannon. This is the third tentacle cannon the scientist has, and I have no idea where he's been hiding it all. But that's when Plungerman shows up and stops his dirty plans. As we remember in episode 66, he just flew away when all the agents were teleported to the TV man base. And apparently he didn't search for them and came to the rescue of his old buddy. At this moment, you can see that the cannon is not attached to the tentacle at all. Maybe he only has two tentacles, but a lot of different cannons behind his back or something. Plungerman hits the speaker on the scientist's
if this
chest,
actually takes
can't
1
get it off.
hour.
And then the scientist shows him how powerful that speaker is. I think if Plungerman had been a little smarter, he would have just turned around and attacked from behind or from the side. But we know how much he likes to rush into battle and not back down. And that's why he was badly
No
wounded
stone
this time.
shovel, and I'm
That
kind of
device in the
tired.
scientist's eye turned out
So
to be a
this is
laser
gonna be a
cannon.
1 hour
I
video.
really thought it was just a scanner. but
Also,
I
I'm
was
trying
wrong.
to get a lot of
This is another episode with a
subscribers.
major battle where Plungerman was destroyed because of his goofiness. I mean, badly wounded, I'm sure he'll be repaired again. Why not? This time at least he saved the Cameraman Titan from an acid projectile and did some benefit to the battle. Titan immediately comes at the scientist and attacks him with a circular saw right in the face. And oh my god, there's nothing except fire and explosions. You still think he's not a goddamn robot? And then this is exactly what I've been waiting for. G-Man is back. And now he's upgraded as hell, just look at that. He still has the same 4 powerful lasers he had at the end of episode 57. 2 lasers near his eyes, 2 super powerful lasers, and 1 core. First of all, those lasers on his head look just like the eye lasers on G-Man and Foster. I think it's the same laser eye technology, but now Skibidi stopped hiding it inside because everyone knows G-Man can be a robot. I don't exactly remember if I've seen lasers like this before, but it looks like these are the most powerful laser cannons in the series. Just look at the damage G-Man did to Titan in episode 57 with 6 lasers, and compare that to the new ones. He actually made Cameraman go down immediately after the blast. He also got extra jetpack turbines on the sides to boost his flight. The new sunglasses now look really stylish. I'm glad G-Man didn't wear the same goofy glasses like in episode 57. By the way, check out his face. I think it's the same G-Man or a clone of G-Man from episode 47 and 57. I think it's a clone. And the real G-Man we saw in episodes 33 and 35 last time, if you ask me. But that could be a mistake, who knows? At least this G-Man's face looked pretty bad too, but he turned out to be a fake. But the most interesting thing is, where did he get that core from? If you remember, Titan TV Man had the exact same core, but how in the world would Skibidi Toilets have it? G-Man's core fires a laser, and we've never seen that with Titan TV Man. But we'll discuss all the possibilities about it a little later. The scientist sticks out some kind of robotic tongue and rips off Titan's camera protection. By the way, he's had this defense since the very first episode, but I didn't pay much attention to it.
Every Sunday.
Enjoy the refreshing sweet flavors of sunglasses, apple, lemon, and lychee.
By the way, he's had this defense since the very first episode, but I didn't pay much attention to it. Probably it was made so he could fight next to Cinema Man and not get damage from his radiation. Notice that the scientist didn't throw the protection away, he swallowed it. It's not surprising since he's completely robotic. Look at his eye scanner, eye laser cannon. It doesn't look like there's any life inside of him at all. I think he's got some kind of container or something inside of him. Notice how much the Skibidi scientist looks like a parasite, just huge in size. He has mechanical legs, as well as a tongue that looks like a parasite. But the most epic moment happens right here, when the scientist unhooks the giant speaker and there's a giant TV underneath. Notice that Plunderman crashed into this speaker. Cameramen tried to break it with a circular saw, but only the scientist was able to unhook it. Look at these explosions around the edges. It definitely has nothing to do with previous attempts to break it. And this TV has Skibidi written on the bottom. The TV Man Titan didn't have that right. I just don't have any ideas where Skibidi would get TV Man technology from. Okay, let's think about this because it's important. We're all waiting for the return of Titan TV Man, but we don't know which side he'll fight on. First off, Skibidi scientists could take any big TV and hang it on his chest. But where did they get that THX sound? We see that it's not just sound and light, it's the hypnosis ability. The scientist hypnotizes Titan Cameraman and forces him to cut off the camera. Oh my God! We see the saw go deeper and deeper, and that's where the episode ends. We can't say for sure if Cameraman Titan will stay alive or not, but we have different options for a continuation. I think if Dafuk wanted to make a tragic moment, he would have shown us the ending of it all. There is a very likely chance that at the beginning of the third part of episode 67, someone will save Titan. It could be Speakerman, who is resting somewhere nearby, or perhaps Cinema